Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in, and especially thanks to everyone who's subscribed this far. You've been a super big help to the channel, and let's get into another cool cartoon. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the story of my food fighting experience. If anyone has ever had a food fight experience, then feel free to let me know in the comments section what food was involved. Alright, so this story took place when I was around 7 years old. So in my family, we would all have dinner together, and when we did that, we would have all of the cooked food on the stove and countertop, and then my siblings and I, we would all have a portion, and then if we finished everything on our plate, then we would have a second portion. But if we didn't finish everything on our plate, then we would make sure we put all the leftovers in a food container, and then we could eat it later, or we could take it to school the next day. So on one particular evening, we were all having supper together, and I thought it was just a regular day, but ooh, was I wrong. So for supper that day, we were having some mixed vegetables, some mashed potatoes, and some roast chicken. So supper started off normal until I started flicking peas at my brother. After a few peas flicked at my brother, he started flicking them back at me. And that's when Mother told us to stop flicking peas at each other. But she didn't say anything about flicking peas at my sister. So after a little bit of time passes by, I start flicking peas at my sister, and that's when Mother says to knock it off. So then a little bit more time goes by, and then Mother goes to the washroom, and that is when it all went down, because that is when the mashed potatoes started flying. As soon as my brother got hit with mashed potatoes, things escalated quickly. That is when handfuls of food was being tossed at each other. Let me tell you that my brother totally emptied his entire plate, throwing the food at us, and then he went to the stove and he was resupplied with all the food that was there. And wowee, was there ever some lot of food being thrown everywhere. And it was on everything. The whole kitchen and dining table, everything was just covered in food. But just as quickly as the food fight started, the food fight was over. Mother came out of the washroom and was yelling at us, told us to stop and smarten up. Immediately, my siblings and I were punished. We had to clean up everything, and we were not allowed to have any food for the rest of the day. Basically, we had sleep for supper. So after everything was cleaned up, Mother sat us down and explained that we should not be wasting any food because it costs money, and there are some people in the world that don't have any food at all to eat. Some people don't have any clean water to drink, and there are some people that have such little amount of food that they actually die from not having enough food to eat. After that day, I really tried not to waste any food at all. So my family usually saves any leftovers, and then we would recycle any of the food waste by having all of the meat scraps go to the dog, and then any of the plant scraps would go into the compost pile, and then we would use the compost to feed the family garden. It is so nice to have a family garden because that is where I tasted the best fruits and vegetables I've ever tasted. Let me tell you, the freshest, it doesn't beat that. Oh, so tasty. Other than some bananas, mangoes, and avocados, the best I've ever tasted of those tropical foods was in Australia, but that's a story for another time. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and if you did, then make sure you hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more, then make sure you hit the subscription button. So until next time, remember that there is a lot of people in this world that need help, and they're in a really tough situation, and sometimes it's through no fault of their own.